I think the Cleveland fan base should just boycott at this point. We ain't buying no tickets.
But not everybody feels the same way as you guys.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they
Yes,
do.
they
The fan base does.
The fan base does. Boycott the whole shit. Say we ain't coming unless Shedeur in. The game will be blacked out locally. And sometimes you got to force your hand. Cleveland Brown fan. Force your hand, man.
Just what are your expectations when he does come in, though?
We don't know.
460 yards.
But what we do know, our quarterback is not going to look like a little scared little baby. That's what Gabriel look like right now. I guarantee you it don't look like that. What's the worst that can happen? It look the same?
What's your realistic expectations were?
Our realistic expectations is to see everything we got on our roster so we can know if we need to draft a quarterback in the first round or not. You might have one in your building right now. We gave him 5-6 games. Let's give him 5-6 games and find out. If he's not the guy, you a 5th round pick, we don't owe you shit. You could be gone.
I would be shocked if he doesn't get some playing time before the season's over. I think he'll get the last 4 or 5 games at least.
Baltimore is the team that the report said that he said no to, right? If he's going to play, I would love for it to be Sunday so he can show them why he said no. I don't want to sit behind Lamar because I'm not.
Inside the Cleveland Browns quarterback room, the situation has shifted from quiet frustration to full-blown tension, not because of who earned the starting role, but because of the quarterback who never got a real opportunity. Many players, analysts, and a growing wave of upset fans believe that the coaching staff has consistently overlooked Shedeur Sanders, turning what should have been a competitive decision into a controversy that's now impossible to ignore.
It's a such thing as they got that it. That it is when the defense is like this, and then, oh shit, he get in the game and we like, oh shit. That's why it's just like an aura, Jay. It make everybody get interested, like, oh shit, we at the edge of our seats now. That's called that it factor. We believe when we look in the huddle, okay, Shedeur in there, shit, let's see what we gonna do. That's called that it factor. When Gabriel in there, we like this. Yep.
Yeah.
We just chilling, bro.
Ah, excited again.
Give me 5 plays, bro, before we go back on the field. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it go, man. That's what make it the it factor. That's why I don't really got no name. You just call it the it factor. You know what I'm saying? So he may look one way in practice, one way in camp. Put him in the game and let this shit really get.
On paper, Cleveland sits at 2-7, collapsing fast and heading toward yet another season slipping away. But the real story unfolding behind closed doors is far more troubling. A narrative where the franchise seems intent on sidelining its most promising young talent before he even gets the chance to step onto the field.
I still remember, guys, I'm not kidding you, my grandfather, okay, who played in the leather helmet days, like God bless his heart, he hated Deion Sanders so much that in 2004, I was starting at center for the Bills against the Ravens. And this is when Deion came back and was playing for the Ravens. He offered me 10 grand to take out Deion in the game. My grandpa, okay? I was 25, he's 85, okay? He doesn't even know what a bounty is. He doesn't care, but he hated how much of a showboat Deion was that.
The Browns' issue isn't simple reluctance when it comes to playing Shedeur Sanders. It's a complete refusal, almost as if the idea itself is unwelcome within the organization. Their resistance to even acknowledging him as an option has become increasingly obvious, and after weeks of vague statements, mixed messages, and confusing strategic shifts, the uncomfortable reality is becoming clear. The Cleveland Browns have no interest in allowing Shedeur Sanders the chance to prove himself or outshine anyone on the roster.
A guy who, a famous New York rapper, got out of jail yesterday, and first thing he does is go to a Jets game. Who is he dapping up on the sideline? Not any of his New York Jets players, Shedeur Sanders. The effect will be real. The confidence will start to leak through, and like the words of the great Jarvis Landry, it will become contagious. So will it translate to wins? That's yet to be determined. But what we do know for a fact is that the locker room will shift and players will carry a new type of energy because of the leader that is behind the quarterback position. That is what you get if you...
For weeks, the Browns have repeated the same predictable script. Dillon Gabriel needs more reps, Shedeur Sanders is still progressing, and everything is supposedly part of a long-term plan. But that so-called plan now feels less like a developmental strategy and more like a barrier, one designed to keep Sanders firmly on the sidelines and as far from actual game action as possible.
I go on the internet, all I see is a bunch of dudes sitting around going, why are you not playing Shedeur and why are you about it? Like they're playing the soundbite. He won't even say his name. He won't even say his name. What is that? What is that? Now, I don't want to start getting all pissed off here this morning.
Personally, I think the idea of Stefanski not saying Shedeur's name, I think, is overblown. That's me.
Then why is he doing it?
I don't know. Why isn't he playing?
Despite Gabriel going 1-4, completing barely 58.6% of his passes, and being part of humiliating losses to teams like the Jets and Patriots, the Browns still shield him as though he's a long-term franchise savior instead of the fifth-round gamble he actually is. Meanwhile, Sanders continues to wait in the shadows, treated like an afterthought rather than a legitimate option.
Are so threatened by someone else's confidence that they want you to dim your own light just to make them feel better. And that's not gonna happen here. I mean, let's be honest, you don't like him because he's flashy, because he has a nice watch, better than yours, better than mine, you know? I mean, that just sounds like hating though to me. I mean, he is a rich kid who's really earned it. And that's why people should actually be applauding Shedeur. He doesn't have any scandal attached to his name, upstanding citizen. He's always supportive of his teammates and has been an excellent leader on the field, looks like it off the field. It's not easy walking in the footsteps of your famous dad, let alone Hall of Fame, best to ever do it type dad. But it just shows you how much of a hard worker he really is, because no one's gonna be harder on Shedeur than his dad, and then also
The Browns' handling of Shedeur Sanders has reached a point where it feels less like football strategy and more like a deliberate effort to keep him invisible. The coaching staff treats him with the same avoidance someone shows a persistent telemarketer, even as fans plead for his chance and analysts repeatedly point out the obvious alternative. Even owner Jimmy Haslam publicly indicated the team wanted to evaluate both rookies, yet the coaching staff refuses to budge. Inside the building, whispers from players echo what supporters shout outside. Why is the organization so afraid of letting Shedeur compete? Then comes the return of Deshaun Watson, the former franchise face recovering from multiple Achilles injuries, carrying a massive contract and even bigger expectations from years past. For months, the team insisted Watson wasn't close to returning, but when pressure grew to finally give Sanders a real shot, insiders suddenly pushed a new storyline. If Watson is healthy enough to stand, he'll play before Sanders. The justification was predictable: money, investment, experience, but it became the perfect shield. If Watson comes back, Sanders gets bumped even further down the depth chart. If he doesn't, Gabriel stays protected as QB1. Either way, Sanders never steps on the field. Even Albert Breer pointed out the uncomfortable truth the Browns refused to admit. Shedeur was a fifth-round pick, and their investment in him simply doesn't compare. That's the real reason, not competition, not performance, not growth. The Browns drafted him to hide him. Inside the locker room, frustration is clear, even if players can't say it publicly. Leaders like Myles Garrett continue to preach winning, but privately, several veterans believe Sanders could jolt the offense. They've watched his arm talent, his composure, and the energy he brings to scout team reps that outshine the starting unit, but the staff has already made up its mind. Sanders won't get an opportunity, no matter how BA.